the cracks are starting to appear in the so-called skeptic community or the social moderate community. Mundane Matt, I guess he is the shilliest of all the candid shills. He made this video like I guess couple of days ago already about like some 19-year-old girl who had sex and even like shot some homemade porn video with a 14-year-old boy, and then she got pregnant and then she got arrested, and he was basically defending the girl. And then Dave Cullen of Computing Forever, he made a response that about his like virtue signaling. And then Johnny Fox, he called Mundane Matt a feminist, or he became a feminist because like they both point out Mundane Matt's hypocrisy. Like he is basically defending her because she's a woman, like, and probably if the roles were reversed, he wouldn't be defending her. But like, yeah, let's take a look at his defense.
Whatever the fuck it was, she had a very rough childhood, and so she has always kind of not had that normality. All right, and so she graduated high school last year, got a job at a rug plant. Her grandfather died. That destroyed her mentally. She got hurt on the job. That destroyed her further. And according to her grandmother, she was just looking for someone to hold on to.
So I think this is, of course, complete bullshit. Like, oh, boo-hoo, she's had a rough childhood or whatever. Like, so, like, I don't know, I was raised by a single mom, so if I go kill somebody on the street, like, stab them in the neck and, like, pee on their corpse, it's like, oh, but I didn't have a father figure in my life. Like, so does it excuse it? Like, yeah, okay, I guess, like, expressing sympathy for her hard childhood is, like, good, but it still doesn't excuse, like, you know, if somebody gets, you know, fondled by a pedophile when they're a child and, like, you know, abused, then when they're older, they become a pedophile and then they abuse more children. Is it an excuse? It's more like it establishes a pattern that we should break. Like, so, like, most people nowadays have had a rough childhood, I think. That's just how the world is. So it's no excuse. But still, like, he does mention somewhere that she is facing 20 years in jail. And maybe, I think maybe that's a bit excessive because, and like, well, at least Mundane Matt mentioned, no, I mean, I read the word Mundane Matt here, but like Johnny Fox mentions that it's statutory rape. It's still different than like actual pedophilia. Like, I think there is a difference between having sex with a 14-year-old and like a, I don't know, 6-year-old or something. There's a difference, and there is also difference between statutory rape and rape, like, you know, when you actually like violently force somebody. And I don't know, maybe she did actually rape this guy, but probably not. So I guess I cannot be so harsh on Mundane Matt in that respect, since I don't know, I guess you have to go into the like details how it was, like what actually happened and stuff, but still, like, the girl does seem disturbed, like, because she shot like a homemade porn video of them, and then she bragged about getting impregnated by a 14-year-old kid on Facebook or something like that. So I don't know, like, it's just, maybe I'm trying to say that maybe I sort of agree on some of his like defense of her, but like not his reasons for defending her, because yeah, his reason is basically like, oh, her mental mindset and her rough childhood or whatever. It doesn't excuse it. It's more like, well, they are both teenagers. And yeah, I certainly like she did break a law, and like I think an important law. So of course she should go to jail. But yeah, I think 20 years sounds a bit excessive. But of course I don't know all the details of the case, so I don't know.
Because I don't look at this from her perspective as being a malicious act. I don't look at this from her perspective as a predatory act. I look at this as a person who has had a very rough life and found someone to hold on to, and maybe he wasn't feeling the same way. Again, I have no idea. I'm speculating.
So he doesn't look at it at all from the 14-year-old boy's perspective, because like somewhere he said that was the grandmother of the girl who said that their relationship between the girl and the boy, that it seemed like it didn't seem so lovey-dovey. So is it just like and yeah, he like, was it as like friends with benefits thingy? But then I don't know, I don't think you're supposed to get pregnant, and yeah, it's like, I guess if like because Mundane Matt is sort of excusing at some point, like if the girl was in love with the guy, then maybe it's like extenuating circumstances. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, let's say a fucking 50-year-old guy falls in love with an 11-year-old girl and, like, you know, fucks her repeatedly and gets her pregnant. Like, does it fucking matter if he loves her or not? It's more about like the victim here, like the 14-year-old guy. Like, if he really loved her, then I guess I can see it as an extenuating circumstance. But he doesn't mention it all. He doesn't give a fuck about what the boy had to, how he felt or thought about any of this shit. But like, yeah, let's say like, but I do think like it's not necessarily like completely. I guess like the scenario, like even if it was reversed, like it was a 19-year-old guy and a 14-year-old girl, like they're still both teenagers, and I think that like it's possible that they could have like a reasonable relationship. But okay, if he gets her pregnant when she's 14, I'm not a fan of it. But sure, like I do agree with him because he sort of mentioned that it's not the same as like a teacher fucking her student, and yeah, I agree with him on that. But okay, I don't want to speculate too much on this case because I don't know all the details, but I do, like, my lowdown is that she still committed a crime and she seems like a disturbed individual. And it doesn't matter that her childhood was crappy or anything like that. So she should pay for it. But it's still different from an actual, like, a statutory rape. Even if the guy was sort of consenting. And I guess you can say that he's 14, he cannot really consent. But yeah, I think, like, well, Johnny Fox said that he had sex when he was 14 and he had sex with a 14-year-old girl, so I guess they can sort of consent. So yeah. But anyway, I whatever. I don't wanna talk about this case anymore. I more wanna, like, because the cracks are starting to appear, like, in the skeptic community, and I think it's good because I think there are good people like Dave Cullen. I think he's a decent guy. Like, I don't agree with all of his views, and I think he's a bit too mainstream in many respects, but I do think he's an honest guy compared to like this guy. I don't know so much about Mundane Matt, but yeah, he doesn't seem so honest based on what I've seen and heard of him. And of course, there's Sargon of Akkad, who is, I don't know, becoming this light cult leader or something. And of course, all the other candid shills who are just shills in it for the money and attention and all that stuff. So I am happy to see this, like, members of this, you know, quote unquote quote community coming against, like, you know, attacking their bullshit. And Dave Cullen has done it before. Like, he called out Sargon of Akkad socialism, like, was it year or two ago already? And so I think it's a good thing. And I'm not just saying this because, like, you know, I'm so envious of their fame or any bullshit like that. It's like, well, the same reason why these, like, former Gamergaters were supposedly against, you know, Zoe Quinn and, you know, fucking all these journalists. Was it Zoe Quinn? Or, yeah, I think it was her. And, you know, it's because they're fucking corrupt. They're lying. They engage in nepotism. That's the point. That's why I like starting to hate this community, and I would like to see, like, people like Dave Cullen, like, distance himself from it, like, even further, because I do think he's a decent guy. And of course, like, Johnny Fox doesn't really see himself as part of this community, and yeah, he needs money. He's gonna lose his house or something. So if you have money, it would be nice if you can. Oh, I'm not subscribed to him. If you can help him, it would be good, because I don't think I have money, so I can't help him. But okay, whatever. So I don't know. I guess, like, maybe the chain reaction is already going on, and this, you know, skeptic community is gonna implode at some point, and maybe they're gonna start eating each other just like the SJWs. And I don't know. Maybe I just love the drama. Hey, maybe Sargon is right about everything, and people who are against them just like the drama. But, like, why not? Like, are they doing anything else except entertaining us? And I think them, like, saying all the same bullshit about, like, oh, look at these feminists, they're stupid. And of course feminists are stupid, but it's so fucking obvious. But, like, I think it would be more entertaining to see these people, you know, their crash and fall, and their, like, duplicitous behavior getting called out and all that. So yeah, here's to that. Cheers. Imagine me, like, taking a sip of champagne or something.